Yeah, so once the great day of revolution comes and we're all free, how's it all going to pan out? How is it really going to pan out, you know? How is it going to pan out? Like, for the poor and the rich. So, like, step one, as I say, is not to vote. 18 million is now in this country doing it. So, one day when we beat them, which we already beat them by 51%, which is 5 more million people not doing it, right? That's the only way we're going to beat them, by outvoting their democratic system, by outsmarting them, by not participating in their system. Then you're going to want to be step two to go neutral, and then step three, you want to go non-monetary, and you want to clear all the debts and consolidate all the relevant duties and housing into the first earth estate, which has always been it. But so you said we want to basically remove their money, so then they have no power, the government and the banking systems. Now, all these, how's this going to pan out? You see, how is this going to pan out? In the sense of all the rich in all these NAF positions are all going to leave. All the CEOs aren't going to be interested in their industry that they're making mint out of at the moment. But these industries are relevant industries that are needed. It's the greatest straightener you'll ever see, and it needs so much more conversation on it by more people. You see, in other posts and positions, from more angles. There's 8 billion people as well, so there's 8 billion sort of like points of view, because this affects everybody. When it comes to a change like this, of like removing the money, you see, and clearing all the debts is what they say. You clear all the debts. Step three, become non-monetary, and you clear all the debts. Once you and you consolidate all the housing and all the relevant duties into the first earth estate, which is already here. But what that by means is the only stuff that's relevant worth keeping. You see, which will easily be done because no one's going to work in NAF duties, and NAF services that are only here because of a monetary system, because of capitalism. The only thing that really needs to stay are the stuff that really needs it, the key working service, the actual absolute essentials in products and services, from transport, education, travel, as I was saying, you get what I mean. All these kind of industries, the main sort of industries we need, hospitalisation, housing, all these things, environment issues, sewers being sorted out, everything that's absolute essential. And all the rich and all the false positions are all leave. They just all go. But also that goes with it, it's all like we're moving money. So then the poor like ourselves will be just left with our houses and our assets. You see, our volume of capacity of storage will always be poor, and the rich will always be rich in capacity of volume of storage of having 20 bedrooms in their houses. You see, and bigger driveways for more cars, so they can always store cars because all their money be removed in the free world. So when these rich people were once multi-millionaires and billionaires, they're not no more. You see, the only thing they're left with are their big houses, so they're always going to be rich in assets. So in the free world, they can always top up their houses. That's what we can as a poor, with the capacity of space of what we can fill it in with, in volume, right? And it's the greatest clearance of time that we need. This is how things will pan out, It's getting a grasp of all this, how this graduation change begins, and how it pans out, which I've said about 3 times now. But I'm just trying to get a grip on this as well as I'm conversing on this. Is a sort of like, what we can do is basically just realise that money is irrelevant, you don't need it, and it's all about the capacity or volume of storage. You see, that's the main thing, and you can only store so much stuff in your house. Just like you can eat only so much stuff before you got sick for the day, right? So knowing this basic stuff is but it seems to be overlooked, because people can panic about the word of free world and all the rest of it. But you couldn't steal everything if you just say, well, you can't sell it abroad, other countries that are still monetary when you're still a non-monetary, you're the first monetary country. Because at the end of the day, you've only got so much storage space, and to keep everything thriving, you can only keep it within your own countries until, all the relevant duties of export and import that we'll keep will continue to stay what they are. You can't just go and take stuff and then just go and sell it abroad to people that still want resistance for a bit of money when you're now getting everything free in a free world. See, these are birth pains, and that needs to be sorted out, you see, on the security tagging of all things. So you just keep everything just like native to native, so you can have what you want, take what you want when you want and have what you want, but take it when you need. This is the right Bactic sense of of community in the countries. You see, you take it when you want by all means, but have it when you need it. You see, you don't need to be storing your house of stuff. You see, because everything as well only has sort of 3 years or 15 years sort of shelf life. When you're more cons. This is heavily home economics reality that again no one's addressing too much. So you couldn't be that greedy if you wanted to be, because you can only store so much stuff in your house, and it's just like disempowering the authority of the rich, you see. Say, well, look, you've got your big house, so all the big top fat cats who've got like private, housing, and they've got thousands of private mortgages that are in their company, and they want to demand, for example, some saying, why want them all to pay back? We'll say, well, no, you can't, because you already got a big house. Yeah. We'll go, well, you don't need it then, do you? Because you already got a big house and a spare house, and all these people now that were paying, now all their debts are cleared, or mortgage being a debt. You see? And so this is how it works out. We've got to undermine them and understand and get on the same page of how to undermine. Because remember, why are you not voting? Where are we heading to? So in step 1, don't vote. 80 million not voting. So this is coming very close to being the 51-49, change of like when we're the 51%, which is roughly about 23.5, 24 million people in this country. Now we're not far off it. So what happens? Why aren't you not voting? Because we should say, because we want to be in a free world, you see. And that's how we work here. And we want to be in a free world because, we can timeshare the duties and using the 39-13 template, a natural rostering template. You work 30 weeks between 4 people, you get 39 weeks back. But you see, all the debts are cleared, and the greedy controllers over us ain't going to like that. But they're already rich, and that's how we need to fight back on them. You keep what you got, you keep your big mansion, your big house. We keep our small houses and our small flats, but we're now going to be as free as you by only working 13 weeks, and you get 39 weeks back to ourselves, each one of us, when we're working jobs. Now, say it's a career, you don't mind working 26 weeks or 39 weeks per annum. You choose, by your prerogative, right, how you feel that year and what's happening in your life. When it comes to the career services, you at least got to have 13 weeks off if you're working 39 weeks at most, for the careers. But I mean, these are little questions, that are thrown here and there in this little vlog. But I mean, try and pick up on some of this stuff, if you can be bothered. But it's there for us to look at. And these sort of questions will arise, you see, when we get closer to the time when this starts to really come relevant in question, which to me is now. But when it hits 51%, 49, are they really going to be able to stand there and control? When the democratic system will fall like a house of cards, because the House of Commons has been defeated, which is their tier 1 level control over us, and tier 3 being the King of the England, and tier 2 being House of Lords. Then they all protect in them 3 levels at the banking system and all the families now, you see. So by taking out the government, first step 1 by 51%, the rest of it will start to collapse. And then they need to be making demands. You say, well, what's the change? We want a free world. We're not voting because we want to have a non-monetary world. We don't want to work so much in boring, mundane duties that are relevant and need to be done, but we're just going to do it for 13 weeks. You see? And we can't be that greedy. And so no one's going to be like ransacking loads of stuff, because where are you going to store it all? And why do you need to take 2 fridges for free and stick them in your garage when your fridge still got another 5, 6, 7 years on it before it needs to pack up itself anyway? You see what I mean? And you can't sell it abroad. So this is how it beautifully works out between one another. See? This is the real heavenly economics of the ushering of the Krita Yuga, the free world that we need to do. This is the heavenly economics of it. It's how it's really done. Right? It's how it's really sort of works out between one another, So yeah, just sort of shooting the breeze on this one a bit. But yeah, think about these things, because we're getting close to these times, and we're not far off it. It could be another 5 years next general election. We don't know what they're going to put through in this next 5 years. It could be enough to break the camel's back of the system, what they've got over us, because they're going to annoy us so much that we're going to increase in our numbers. And if not in this 5 years, it's pretty much soon now in the next 50 years. Who knows? But it's coming close. You can feel it. You can see it. The statistics aren't lying. If policies are a reflection of other people, well, 80 million is not voting. So, we're on our way to a free world, golden days, and more good times for all of us in a flow state is coming closer, which is our right. Okay? Yeah, I'll leave it there for now.